Do 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 do. Game of Thrones. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Oh, I'll do the belt up. Hey folks, Mike here. Welcome back to the woods. It is a fine, fantastical spring day. It's really, really pretty here. I cannot wait to do this overnight camp and bring you guys along on the adventure. It's going to be super cool. I've got a mixture of traditional gear and modern gear with a waxed canvas backpack. You know, then you've got your kind of axe and saw and modern day tarp and things like that. Going to build a little tarp shelter, get a fire going, cook up some food, just enjoy this lovely spring night in the woods. Stay tuned guys, thank you for being here, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it as much as I'm going to enjoy making it. Okay, so this is the pack I'm using for this trip. It's a pretty big pack for a single overnighter. Actually a 3-day pack, and this is made by a friend of mine, subscriber called Guy at Meandering Maker on Instagram. He makes some incredible handmade waxed canvas and leather goods. The attention to detail is just awesome. I've been using this pack for a couple of months now, really chuffed with it. I don't take it on all my trips, but it's just nice to get that rustic, kind of old school feel, vintage feel. It's got some really nice thick buckskin leather straps as well, which is just awesome. Really cool pack. Anyway, it can take a lot of gear. As I say, it's a 3-day pack, so it can easily do enough for an overnighter, but he does some canoe packs as well. So on the front is just on a carabiner here at the front is just my tarp, and I just take it like that. I can put it, it's got straps underneath, but I didn't bring them with me. Just wanted some quick, fast access to that. In one side pouch or side sleeve here is the axe. This side pocket is actually a subscriber, Jeffrey, sent me this as well. It's a titanium canteen set. But yeah, so thanks Jeffrey for sending me, he sent me a load of gear. Really appreciate it, Jeffrey. Thank you. Everyone say thanks to Jeffrey below. That's really kind of him. Titanium cook set goes in there. This is my tarp that I'm going to sleep on, that I roll out like I did when I did that video with Paul. And then underneath, there's the main flap. We'll get into the main compartments at the moment. You've seen the side compartments. In here is a water bottle as well. Got a litre of water in there and an Nalgene. But just quickly, just so you can see what setup I've got. Ooh, there. Knife sharpening and tool maintenance kind of kit there. Priorities at the front, and then in this front pouch I have my bushcraft knife, the sheath, and epic new fire steel. Again, another subscriber, he sent me this. This is what I was doing at the beginning. Little Game of Thrones scene, the Stark Wolf. But this is really cool. Made for me again by a friend. He's actually got a YouTube channel called HF Survival School. He's called Nick, and he makes these ferro rods. I'll put a link to them in the description. They're kind of luxury ferrocerium rods, but they are really, really cool, and they're monstrous. Look at the size of that. That is an absolute boost. It's going to throw some sparks for sure. Maybe not for the super lightweight backpacking trips, but certainly for a bit of fun in the woods, solo overnights and things like that. And he's done some really cool leather work as well. My little Wolfie. What should we name him? And on the front, or the top, frying pan. Also, oh, these are the possibles pouches again that Guy makes. You can see it's kind of matching the same leather. In this is just my kind of cookware gear, so spoons, knives, forks, tea, coffee, things like that. Then I've also got, I always have my first aid, like Israeli bandage, wound clotting gauze and things like that. Tourniquet, first aid kit near the top, in case you get cut up bad, you need to get to it quick. And then it's literally just sleeping pad. Oh no, camera, that's my camera gear, that's how much I bring with me. So that's all batteries, spare lens filters, everything like that, that's all in there. A little stool which I've used in a video before, my buddy Tim made me. And yeah, then sleeping bag and sleeping pad, because it's getting down to about 2 degrees tonight, so fairly chilly. Not freezing obviously, but enough to have a comfortable night. So that is it, that's the pack. It is such a nice day. Such a nice day. What I need at the moment is the tarp though. Oak spider. Tarp wise, this is just a stuff sack that I keep my tarp in. It's all, I hope it's got quick release loops, I'm pretty sure it does. It did have a quick release loop, I've just pulled it through. But basically I use some bank line, just cordage, just to hook this to the bag. Gives me a bit of extra cordage anyway. It doesn't need to, I could just hook it through onto the bag through this little D-ring here that comes with the stuff sack. But I like to always have a bit of cordage, you know, that's quite quick access, so I can use this if I need to, trapping and things like that. So I leave that as a loop, that side, and that just is a slip knot like that that comes down. So I'll always leave the loop on that side. Keep the cordage where you can see it. Inside is my tarp. So the tarp I'm using is 3 meters by 3 meters. It's just a square tarp, but I need to find a gap that's either going to be 3 meters or more in between 2 trees. Got a big silver birch tree over here and a nice big straight oak tree here. They're not too wide as well, so it's quite nice. They're not too wide as well, which means obviously less cordage needed to tie the knots at each end. So the tarp is not so much, it is a fairly quick setup that I've got it, but it's not really quick deployment, but it's just handy and versatile for what I'm going to do. Here's the tarp, 3 by 3 meters. You can see it's pretty much square. What I normally did was I had my ridge line already pre-tied coming through these top tie-out points in the middle of the tarp. That way I could just string it up, pull it all tight, and the tarp would just raise up nice and easily. I've changed that now, because if I did that, that would mean I'd only ever have to have it set up that way for quick deployment. I couldn't twist it around or change the angle. So now what I've done instead is I still have a tie-out point. Let me show you this end, for example. Here at all 4 corners, so there, and there. That will always have cordage there, enough to tie out to trees, surrounding trees, you know, enough distance, a couple of meters, maybe 3 or 4 meters of cordage. But what I've done here is, rather than have one whole ridge line pulling the tarp up, I have a short amount here which is going to tie to this tree, and then the same again, a short amount here which is going to tie to that tree. And the benefit being is I can still have a diamond shaped setup as well as a normal shaped setup quite easily. I could just spin this diagonally and just use those tie-up points to make it kind of diamond shape. I'm not going to at the moment, but it just means it's so much more versatile, and I can switch cordage around if I need to. So the first knot I'm going to tie at this end of the tarp, they're all adjustable kind of tension type knots. Just wrap it around the tree. I'll come in close so you can see this now, but wrap it around the tree, and then hopefully you'll be able to see this. Hello. Right, this is never easy to show. So here's my kind of loose end, the tag end. This end is going to the tarp. What I do, here's the 2 separate ends. Go over one end, wrap it round, pull it right round again. You get to here. Here's your ridge line. Make a loop, a U shape over that ridge line, and pull this back through to make a bunny ear loop basically, and cinch it all tight up against that knot there. What I do then is make a second, because that bunny ear loop, if I pull this, it's just going to slip through. So I make a second quick release loop here, pull it through again. Now that's locked off, that knot's it's not going to slip. It's not going to slip. Get it? Then to stop this loop really slipping through is pull it back through like this with a stick, and that then pinches, and that's now never going to slip. So I can pull on this as hard as I can now, and it's never going to slip because the stick's there. Now the other knot is more important, because this is just kind of my anchor knot really. The other knot is the tensioning knot that's going to get it all tight. Get the ridge line on the next end. I don't have to pull it tight yet, I can just let it sag. But I want roughly the same height. Wrap it round. And then I make a trucker's hitch. This is the ridge line going to the top. And for the trucker's hitch, you just twist, you just hold it in your hand like that. Twist it, make a loop. Grab the ridge line again here, and pull back towards the tree. And there's a loop in the middle of the line. Can you see that? I'll try and do it again, so I'll put it through. So you grab it with your hand, you twist it like that, so it's there, twist it, grab the ridgeline again, pull it away from you, and you'll find there's a loop here. Hopefully you can see that loop. Now that loop can pull out easily by just pulling here, these two lines, see? Slips out like that. But when you put another piece of line through it and pull away from the loop, it stays taut. I'm not far from the top, but if the tree gap was wider, I would go there. Then you feed this line through. This is your tag end as such, your loose end. Feed it through that loop, and this is the bit where you can torsion it, get the tension. Pull it back. It's gone through the loop there. Pull it back towards the tree, and it tightens the whole thing up. So as I do that, can you see this tarp now tightening? And you can crank down on that big time. And there you go, like that's now guitar string taut. And then you can just finish this off with some quick release loops. That's usually what I just do, is make that loop again that I did earlier and just quick release loop it. Create the loop, pull it back through, and it just sits on that original trucker's hitch knot. I just pull this, that then comes loose, that comes loose, it all pulls through, and then to get it back through your loop, and then you just pull this again, hopefully nice and tight, and it's released. I hope that was clear, guys. It wasn't very clear, but again, look at the knots. I got a knots video somewhere up here. Hopefully that will help a bit better. That was pretty naff. Come on, Mike. So now on the four corners of each tie-up point, I've got the kind of bundled up. I've just bundled up the cordage, which is about a couple of meters, like I said, maybe 3 meters. This is just, I'm teaching you to suck eggs here, guys, but literally just making a point on the end of a stick. It's really not too difficult, but that's what we're doing here. We're pointing sticks. Should we fast forward this bit? Let's fast forward this bit. Four sticks with beveled ends. You just saw that in a video recently that I did with Paul. They're the tarp tie-out points. Next knot is the adjustable, basically adjustable guy line hitch. So this is the guy line coming out from the tarp now. I've driven my stake in here, and all I do is I wrap it around the stake. That's taut, that's going to the tarp, this is loose, it's my kind of working end. And what I do is I just go through here twice. So once, through there, twice, through the loop that I've just made. Then I wrap it around all kind of 3 of these and make a quick release loop. It's obviously it's easier explained when I do it, but there, like that. This is a quick release guy line hitch. So there's my quick release loop that I made, and to loosen the tarp now, I just slide the knot. I just pinch the knot, slide it down towards the tent stake, which is just here, out of shot, and then to tighten it, I just grab one of these pieces of line there and pull. It's obviously that one, that knot can slide up, and as I'm doing that, the tarp itself is tensioning, and I can let go, and that's not going to slip back down that knot, it just sits there. So it's a really good adjustable knot. To undo this loop, you just pull the tag end there, and essentially that's then loose, and that is it. So that is essentially it. I know that was pretty long-winded, apologies guys, but that is it. That's the setup, and it's way quicker when I'm not talking through it, trying to kind of, you know, tell you what I'm doing. If I just get on with it, it's much faster. It's only knot there, and then one knot on each 4 corners, and I can lift this corner up if I want to and just have vertical poles there, you know, open it right up and just adjust it that way. It's just a nice versatile way of doing it. And if it's really stormy, I can just shut that right down and bring the peg right down in close, almost peg straight through the actual tie out point there, if it's really windy and stormy. That's just a little cheap ground sheet that I take with me that just sticks in the pack. It weighs nothing. It's nice and thin. It's the same one I use in my canvas lavoo. It just, yeah, like I say, we get a lot of rain here in the UK, so it's nice to keep everything fairly dry off the ground. And that's what this is for. Nice and easy to roll up. That'll go directly underneath in the middle. I can put my backpack on it, sleeping pad, sleeping bag, everything like that. And then it just keeps everything a little bit dry. And I can take my shoes off, be able to sit in there, stand in there. Probably not standing there actually, that's a bit ambitious. But sit in there and, you know, have my shoes off, walk around a bit, and not have to worry about feet getting wet and things like that. Just a simple thing. Simples. This forest is littered with bluebells. You guys see all these green, like grass-like plants? This is all bluebells, generally a sign of an ancient forest. Here in the British Isles, if you have a woodland with bluebells, it's generally an ancient forest, which means it's damn old. But poisonous to eat, don't eat them, not edible. Fairly obvious what it is, long thick blades of almost grass really, it looks like grass. And that is the flowering plant of the bluebell. Although it's purple, but imagine that across all of this forest floor, all purple. There's another one there. It'll be amazing to see when it comes out, usually about end of April, mid to end of April. Awesome, it'll just blanket this whole forest floor. You know nothing, Jon Snow. The great thing about spring is the wild edibles, the food for days. This is Gallium or Gallium aperine. It's a spring wild edible. It can grow a lot taller than this, 30, 40, maybe 50 centimetres, possibly higher actually. It's also known as cleavers or goosegrass, because the geese like eating these as well. But when they're young like this, especially these real young shoots back here, the fresh ones, but they're similar in taste to peas, but you can actually put them in the tea when they're young. You can eat them straight up, just eat the tip of the plant, and that's not too bad. It's, like I say, pea type taste to it. But you can also make a tea out of this, and you can pour hot water over them. Just get a load of fresh shoots like this, pour some hot water, not boiling but just warm water over them, let it steep for a while, and you can get yourself a nice woodland tea. What I'd say is it's not tasty, it doesn't have a taste like pine needle tea would, or, you know, spruce tea and things like that. It doesn't have that kind of citricy taste to it. It's a bit more of a bland taste, but it's also good for you. You know, it is good for you. It's fresh, it's wild, it's good food. And the amazing thing about this plant is it's sticky. It's got tiny little, basically backward facing hairs underneath on the stem and underneath the leaf. Not on the top of the leaves, but underneath them is all these little hairs. And as kids, we used to, I don't know if you guys used to do this, certainly in the UK, used to grab some of these and throw them at your mate who was walking in front of you, and you could just, it would just stick to them like that. You know, it's like, as soon as you throw it, it sticks. So that's there's another name for them which I won't say on here because I'll get demonetized, but if you look it up, sticky, and then you can probably guess what the rest is. But he's a character in The Simpsons, maybe that's a little tip. But yeah, these are really cool. Cleavers is what I know them as, or goosegrass. Nice little spring nibble. And the other thing about these is that because of the tiny hairs on the underside of them which make them stick, it can actually help cleanse your body in a way, cleanse your digestive system. It grabs onto all that gunk that you have down there and can actually help to flush all that badness out, all those McDonald's you've been eating. It helps to, yeah, clear the gut a bit. But like any wild edible, be sure to identify it. Be sure that you've got a certain identification of it before you do eat it. Make sure you definitely know what it is. Do your research. And also be aware of eating the same type of thing in bulk. You know, it's generally not good to eat one type of plant in bulk. You want to mix your diet up, have a good balanced diet. We're very spoilt nowadays with the availability of things like bananas and all sorts of fruit. We can get fruit throughout the year. We're quite spoilt in that sense. So wild edibles, try and learn them. It's always good to know a few. We've got nettles around here as well. The nettles are starting to come up. They're quite an obvious wild edible. Urtica diosa. They are good for teas. They sting you obviously, but not necessarily if you pull them quite hard. I don't tend to get stung by them, but they're really good for teas. And actually nettle soup, if you guys have ever had nettle soup, that's really good. What a day. It's now 10 to 5 in the evening. I arrived here a bit late and I had a good walk around, so just enjoying it. Look at this weather. If I wasn't yabbering so much, you guys would be enjoying the peace. Cleavers, good for you. Another one of my favourite wild edibles. Just here, this light green shamrock looking one. There is wood sorrel, Oxalis aceticella. Really, probably one of the best off the bat wild edibles that you can eat. Obviously garlic's pretty punchy as well, but for me, in the sense of green plants this time of year, so we're April, I would say hands down this is the best. One of the best wild edibles in April from the forest floor. It is awesome. But as Paul was saying in the previous video, you have to be careful about the quantity as well of these, of how many you eat. They do contain oxalic acid, hence the oxalis name as well, which I believe can contribute to kidney stones, so be wary. But when you crunch these leaves up, there's 3 of them, they're very distinct. They've got a heart-like shape to them, they look like a heart. When you crunch these up, the burst of kind of citrusy flavour almost that you get is just awesome for such a small plant. It's really, really cool. So, chowing down on that right now. Love me some wood sorrel. As soon as you bite into it, you get this burst of, like I say, citrusy flavour. Oh, it's so nice. So nice. So I've been farting around in the woods for an hour now, just going for strolls. It's just so peaceful. But I'm getting hungry, so fire time soon. Our clocks just changed, they went forward, which is awesome, which means we've now got an extra hour of daylight. I love it when that happens. So we don't get dark now until, I think it's roughly about 8 PM. Sun sets at 7:30. So dusk, twilight, sorry, is usually about 7:30 till 8, and then dark at 8. So it's awesome. Really feel like spring is here. Do you guys feel like spring is here? We've got some wicked trips planned coming up. I'm super buzzing for spring. Canoeing, maybe some kayaking, loads of wild camping. Can't wait. And obviously stuff at the Viking house and the Saxon house still to come. Oh, it's been awesome. The last few months has been insane for the YouTube channel. I've got to say thank you to everyone who's watching and subscribed and tuned in weekly. Massive thank you. It's been a blast. So peaceful. Ugh. Who is that? Who is that? Who does he think he is, this guy? The front of a beer can with a cocktail. I mean, look at him. I don't know where I recognise him from, but I just know. You know when you look at something, you think, I know you. I know you. Where do I know him from? Ah, that's it. Bebo. He's on Bebo, that's how I remember him. I'm just kidding, Hazy. Love you, really. This is a beer, one of, I think, a few beers that Mr. Hayes Outdoors, one of my buddies on YouTube, also a fellow UK bushcraft and YouTuber, wild camper, he managed to get himself on a can of beer. Not only a can of beer, I think a couple of cans of beers. I mean, that's a life goal right there. Well done, Hazy, mate. Well done, Northern Monk, for finally taking on this fool, getting caught in the rain. Hence the getting caught in the rain, he's in the water and things like that. But I'm going to enjoy this. It's looking like a citrusy one. Pina Colada Milkshake IPA, 7.4%. One of the old peelers, I think. You can peel part of this. Yeah, look, you can peel it. And there's all the info. There he is, look at him. Mr. Hayes Outdoors. Put a link in the description if they're still available. Here we go, Hazy. It's for you, buddy. Let's do another collab soon, actually, if you're watching, Hazy. Pheasant approves. That's nice. Yeah, I like it. Everyone go and subscribe to Hayes Outdoors. Link in the description. Oh, steak's a bit big for the pan. I like to sear it both sides first. Add some garlic. Some asparagus. Told you guys, I'm keeping it simple. Oh, look at that. Yes, please. You guys remember this bit bank line that I was using with the tarp set up at the beginning? I've still got the same loop in it, left it all in there. Just gonna lash together these 3 sticks like so. 1, don't want it too tight. 2, down to this one. 2. Just a couple of wraps and fraps. Bank line, way easier to use than paracord for this. Get it the right way. And then we get the seat cover, which you guys have seen before. Tripod seat. Oh, you fell out. Oh, it's looking good. Oh, it's looking bright. Asparagus. Caveman on this steak. I put a bit of steak spice on it as well. Steak seasoning. Right, we are clocking on towards bedtime, people. This is sleep system set up for tonight. Sleeping pad, summer bag, even though it's getting down to fairly chilly, but I've got the pad underneath and I've got the cheap tarp. Still some nice bird noise, unusually late bird noise. I'm not going to do too much nighttime filming because, yeah, it's just you guys don't get to see as much other than my face. So I'm not going to do too much nighttime filming. Film a bit more in the morning. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. First proper spring camp, really. I did the one with Paul last week, and actually that was a really nice spring type camp. There's a bit more wildlife around in this one, a bit more bird noise. Very peaceful, very still. Fun. Yeah, thanks so much for everyone tuning in. I do appreciate it. Welcome to all the new subscribers who have come along recently. Hope you're enjoying the content on the channel. I like to mix it up a bit and do different things. It's been a blast. The last few months has been an absolute blast. We're approaching the 1,000,000 mile marker, and I was saying on Instagram, I'm not one for numbers usually. You know, I don't get obsessed over numbers too much, but that is a milestone. That is definitely, and it's a really good milestone. It's an achievement. So I'm looking forward to hopefully hitting that soon. And yeah, it's crazy how fast it's all grown. Got some really cool trips coming this year, guys. Got a week. I've got two week-long canoe trips. So 5 day. One's 5 days. One's 7 days, I think. So got one in the Lake District National Park, and then one in October. So an autumn time canoe trip on the River Spey in Scotland. I'm not going to tell you too much more about that, but that's going to be really cool as well. And there'll be some other trips in between that with the canoe. I'm looking forward to getting into canoeing a bit. Travelling, you know, being able to carry more gear and travel and camp and move and, you know, make camping a bit more comfortable as well. Not just have a backpack, have a bit more. Make it a nice comfortable experience. So I'm really looking forward to those trips. And then I've got the Bushcraft show in May. Looking forward to meeting some of you guys there. I've got my own stand this time, so that'd be super cool. Yeah, let me know if you guys are coming to that. I'm really looking forward to meeting some of you. I met a lot of you last year, and I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of you again this year. I'm going to stop rambling now and settle down for the night, because I'm tired. So thanks so much for watching. If you're still there, thank you. And I'll see you guys in the morning. In the morning. Yeah. Got myself a bit of a woodland tea, nettles and cleavers, which I showed you yesterday. Sort of an odd mix to have both together, but always refreshing. And it's a different day today. It's a grey day, a Theon Greyjoy. I've got to stop with the Game of Thrones references, haven't I? It is a grey one, and it's starting to rain, but you can see there's a bit of a breeze picking up. Tarp's moving a bit more, so I think I timed that well. I think I timed everything pretty well. Got some bacon and eggs cooking on the fire, so I am looking forward to those. We're so used to coffee, fast coffee and instant coffee, and tea. Such a huge variety of teas that we're so used to, that we can be shipped from all over the world. So it's nice to be able to pick something that is fresh from where you are camping and using the resources around you, which is what kind of bushcraft is all about, really. I don't practice bushcraft in the purest form like some do. I like to do it, like I say, a mixture of modern gear, old school gear, doing modern things, doing traditional things, and I like to kind of combine the two. Oh, she's sizzling. Yes, almost ready. Yeah, so I like to mix it up a bit. There's a reason why we modernised gear, to make life a bit easier. But at the same time, I like to experience what our ancestors did, our fathers, grandfathers before them, etc. Just, to experience, because they were tough old cookies, let's face it. We're wimps compared to what they were. They were hard as nails. So yeah, it's nice to be able to maybe use things like a traditional waxed canvas backpack. You can use that, obviously canoeing and things like that, be absolutely fine. I'd probably do some multi-day trips in that too as well. I'm looking forward to using it. Like I say, I'll use other gear as well. I like to test out other gear. But yeah, at the same time, it's just nice to get in touch with what our ancestors were doing, and that's why with the Viking house and the Saxon house we were using a mixture of traditional methods and modern day methods and tools, etc. It's just a good experience overall. You get a better rounded experience of using different tools and gaining different skills. So a few of you have been asking how Jax is doing. He's doing really well. It's just getting towards temperatures where I can take him out a bit more now, because obviously in the winter he's I've said this before, he's so small, he's so low to the ground, and he's short-furred. He doesn't suit winter conditions very well, and he can get cold quite easily, so he's only a little dog. Bear in mind, his heart, your body wants to keep all that heat towards your core, which is why your fingertips and your toes get cold first. His heart is, that far off the ground. So he's going to get cold way quicker than I would, really. So it's just, it's important that I look after him. I don't need to just bring him out for the sake of making a film. But he's at home with my wife, he keeps her company. And, it works both ways. I can then go camping, and she's not on her own at the house all the time. So, yeah, it's a good balance. It's all about a balancing act. And I'm going to bring him on more trips. I'm going to bring Em, my wife, on more trips. We're going to do a couple of multi-day trips this year, so I'm looking forward to that. Surprised Mr. Foxy's not coming over, having a little sneak about of this. Oh, if the camera did smell-o-vision. Excuse me while I eat, guys. This stool cover's super handy. It's literally, you just need 3 sticks. Obviously you can choose the height, and it just folds into a little triangle like that. Nice and flat. It's canvas, super durable. It packs down to nothing, and it doesn't really weigh much at all. Put a link to that in the description. This is actually the cordage for the tarp that I showed you at the beginning. I was just using that same cordage, but what you can do is have separate cordage and put it in a pocket here, like that. My buddy Tim makes these, and then that's just stored in there all the time, so you've always got that cordage with you. Don't know if you guys can notice this, hopefully you will, but as well as my kind of main, well, there's no ridge line there, it's just tied off at either end. I do actually have a secondary ridge line here, which is basically a gear hanger. So it just runs all the way down the length of the tarp, and I just hang anything that I need from it, so kind of wash bag essentials if I need to. I've just put this up here for an example, but sleeping bag cover, tarp cover and things like that, just any bits really, gloves, head torch if you want to, or a little lamp, lantern type thing. It's just handy to have a gear hanger. So at the end of each ridge line as well, I've got a prusik knot with a drip line, just bits of cord hanging down. Any drips that eventually water will build up on this bank line here, it will drip down. What it does is it hits that prusik knot, and then water follows the easiest route, and due to gravity it's going to go down here and just drip off these at the end. I always make sure they're outside of my I always make sure that they're just inside the tarp, because obviously if it's here and the rain hits here, it's still going to drip down. So I make sure that these are just underneath the front of the tarp, and obviously that one butts up against there anyway, but especially this one just underneath the tarp, so that any rain that hits on the outside will hit that first, drip down and not drip on my head. And I've got exactly the same setup the other side as well. Also with all my cordage, I try to keep it as neat as possible. So that's the tarp stake there where I've staked it out. I did the guy line hitch here, and that's just the loose cordage there, and obviously I can pull that out, and normally it would just dangle down like that, but that's gonna every time that gets knocked or the wind blows it, it's gonna start to slip loose. So I like to just tuck it, just open these up here, tuck them under, tip I got from Paul, put it back there, and it's just out of the way. And I've still got that quick release loop as well. Always make sure with your tarp tie-up points that they're coming directly diagonally out, not kicked out to the side like this or kicked out to the side like that. It's not going to make your tarp very taut, and you'll just end up getting sagging. And at each corner, one corner is lower than the other, just so the water has an area to run off. There's quite a lot of room in this pack, to be fair. I can't remember the exact literage of it, but I'll try and put it in the description below. But you can see why you could do 3 days in it quite easily. First aid, cameras and cordage, etc. I just realised I didn't show much of Nick's fire still being used, but I've started to use it already. I just feel like fire scenes with, fire stills have been used quite a lot on YouTube lately. It's just, there's a lot of people kind of doing it. So I used it, didn't film it. But just to show you, it really does throw some sparks, this thing. I mean, that's like a firework. Look, it's like a flamethrower. It's super cool. I'm really pleased with it. Thanks so much, Nick. I do admire your work. And guys, he's done a whole video on this, on how he made this. I'm going to put the video of what he did in the description below, just so you can see it. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Ooh, wind's picking up a bit. So this is what I mean by the quick release loop. So I've got that's basically all set, and I can still tighten and loosen that, and all you do is literally pull this, give it a tug. That's now loose, that quick release, and I just go once, twice, and that's then undone. Just spread my hand like that. This is a tip I got from Mike at MCQ, but I've subsequently seen it also in some of Ray Mears' books actually. So it's quite an effective way of hanking up cordage. So you just wrap it round thumb and baby finger there. The thumb, baby finger in a figure of 8, and you can do that really quickly. You can see the cord starting to build up on my hands, and then once the cord gets to about my feet or thereabouts, so essentially I have about 3 feet remaining. I take my fingers out, so that's all the remaining cord. I've got 3 feet or so here. I then start to wrap, not too tight, but just gently wrap around the hank of cordage, like so, trying to keep it fairly neat. You can do it fast, I'm just doing it slower for the camera, but trying to keep it fairly neat. And this also is a quick release method. Then I put my finger there, wrap it around my finger and just tuck it under, almost like you would when you start a shoelace knot. Pull that tight but not too tight, and that can then pack away like that nice and easily. But if I need to then, when I'm tying this out again, you know, I'll pack all this way and every corner will be like this. But then when I want to set my tarp up, sorry, I literally just hold the tie out point here and pull, and you can see it's all kind of quick release. It just pulls out on itself, and then there we go. That's then ready to do all my knots. Just a little thing I do. It makes life a lot quicker. And like I say, if you do it normal speed, it's then like way quicker. It's just I was showing you on the camera what I do. Get to about 3 feet left, take it off your fingers, and then give it a couple of wraps. 3, 4, 5. You can do it neater. The neater you do it, the easier it's going to be when you finish. Wrap it round, tuck it back in, and there you go. So that's kind of normal speed how I would do each corner. Little tip, hopefully it helps you. That is it, pretty much all packed up. Just got to put the tarp in, but it's raining. It's absolutely peeing it down now, guys. I've timed that well. It's about 12 o'clock. It's pretty miserable. It's not going to be a very nice day, I don't think. I need to get some waterproofs on, hike back to the truck. Thanks so much for joining me on this adventure. I just wanted to say a quick thing towards the end of this video. I was speaking to a friend of mine, Chris, at the Wooded Beardsman. Got a YouTube channel called the Wooded Beardsman. I'm sure some of you guys watch his content. Really good kind of catch and cook style, wilderness living. He does a thing called the Wilderness Living Challenge, where he kind of lives off the land for, I think he does like 7-day trips and 2-week trips and more than that as well. He does some really cool wilderness living challenges. So yeah, go and check his channel out. But I was speaking to him recently, and he did a thing in his video as well about the kind of power of positivity, and how over time, when you start getting bigger on YouTube, obviously you get more hate. The bigger you get, the more hate you get. It's just the way it is. It's the same in life in general. in business, you know, celebrities, everything. The bigger you get, the more hate you will get. And I get a lot of people asking me advice on what they should do. They've just started a YouTube channel, and you know, what do they do about the hate and deal with the bad comments. So I get bad comments just as much as anyone else does. All the channels do. But the bigger I've got as a YouTuber, the more I ignore them. It used to get to me. Bad comments used to get to me, and it used to wind me up. But what I've realised is I've been doing this since 2011, so about 7, 8 years of doing YouTube. I've never once met a hater or a troll face to face. I've never met them. And if I have, then they've never said anything bad to my face. So the way you've got to think of it is, there are always going to be people out there that judge you. As soon as you put yourself out on a public platform, you're going to be judged. That's the way life is. As soon as you put yourself in the public eye, you will be judged. And you have to be able to accept that before you even get into YouTube, and before you even start a YouTube channel. Accept that you are going to get judged, and there's going to be people out there that won't like your content. But you have to remember, you're doing it for you as well as your subscribers. You're also doing it for the goodness of you, and you have to put your health and your mental health and well-being first, and do the things that you enjoy. This is the kind of stuff that I enjoy, and I enjoy building things and different shelters and things like that. So what I was speaking to Chris about is, ignore the negative comments. I ignore them now. I don't even acknowledge them. They're still there. Sure, they're still there, but I don't even acknowledge them. I don't acknowledge them, and it's great, because when they comment negatively, they feel like basically they want you to stop YouTube. They want you to stop doing what you're doing. That's essentially how they want to win. They just want you to fail at what you're doing, not be a success, and quit YouTube. That's what they want. I'm never going to do that. You know, I'm never going to let them dictate what content I'm going to make or how I'm going to do it. So that's what I was saying. We were speaking to Chris about, is the power of positivity, and how, you know, I've got such an amazing, incredible fan base here. The awesome army, we call them, me and Dad. So you've got the TA Fishing guys and the TA Outdoors guys, incredibly loyal fans. And I just want to say thank you to you guys who are super positive all the time in the comment section. You know, and when there is a bad comment, the awesome army step in. They step in and they just deal with it. I don't have to deal with it. They deal with it and they put the trolls down, and that's absolutely fine. So, yeah, stay positive. If you're starting a YouTube channel, be positive. Ignore the haters. They're not going to get anywhere generally in life, and they're sat behind their computer at the end of the day. They're not out there doing stuff. I've rarely met them. You know, I go on their channels. What have they got? No content. Or if they've got content, it's nothing to do with the outdoors. So yeah, get out there, guys. Go and do stuff. And don't worry about the haters. And go and check out Wooded Beardsman. He's a great channel. I'm done. I'm getting really wet now. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Bushcraft show. Remember, in May, towards the end of May this year, I'm going to have a stand there. Use the code TA Outdoors 10. You get your 10% off your tickets. And if you'd like to help support the channel, I don't have a Patreon or anything like that, but I do the merchandise. Things like the Bushcraft Brotherhood tops. There's t-shirts, hoodies, sweaters and everything. That's taofficial.com. There's all the links in the description. Thank you so much for watching this. I've got more camping trips planned. We've got the Saxon house. We're going back to the Viking house with Dustin for multi-day trips, survival trips, canoeing. It's going to be awesome. My camera's about to break because there's so much rain on it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you soon in the next episode. Do 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 Game of Thrones.